So good evening, everyone, and welcome to January 2022, our very first dispatch call for the year. And of course, I had to bring it the first one, so that way I keep y'all coming back. I had to bring it for the January edition, so I definitely bought my neighbor. They're kind of my neighbor because they're literally down the street. My neighbor, power couple in Atlanta. I definitely be following everything they do. The Hudsons. Welcome. Welcome, Hudsons.
Hey.
No, y'all not individuals. Y'all just the Hudsons.
All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Huxtables.
Me.
It's like the Huxtables. They the Hudsons.
Ghetto Huxtables.
I would say we just the ghetto version. That's all.
Right. I will allow Devin and Tia to introduce themselves and tell you all what they do. All yours.
You can go first.
Ladies first.
All right. I am Tawana. I am part owner of Hudson Freight Agency. We are a freight agency out of Atlanta. We've been in business a little over 5 years, working together. We have not killed each other. Thank God for that. And yeah, go ahead, Devin.
And I'm Devin. I'm the founder of Hudson Freight Agency. I started in this business, like as far as driving, when I was 18. But as far as being a freight agent, I started in 2016 in August, so a little bit over 5 years ago, and really took it to another level. Been able to create a 7-figure a year business as a freight agent.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been pretty good for us.
It has.
Yes. Love it. So first question I'm going to ask y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all hear this all the time, is what is the difference between a freight agent and a freight broker?
All right, so I get so many people saying so many different wrong stuff.
I want y'all to give me the rights.
Yes.
All right, so pretty much the freight broker, they hold the surety bond, pay the carriers, all the insurance. They have all the systems in place. And as the freight agent, we're pretty much working independently under the brokerage. So we pay the brokerage a percentage, use their systems, their MC to be a representative of them. They get a percentage of our loads, the profits we make, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But we work independently. So we work under them. We do the same things they do, have our own customers and all that good stuff, but without the overhead of a broker.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to pay no surety bond and all that good stuff, but they have it. So we're just working under them. Only thing that most of them require you to have is $1 million book of business. So that means they want you to have experience already as a freight agent or freight, and freight broker, and be moving at least $1 million a year in sales. So that's the total sale. So that's pretty much what y'all are calling and say, hey, I got a truck for $5,000. That's towards the total sale. So it's not what you make, it's the total sale. So you have to have $1 million in that a year.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of makes sense.
Okay, that's the great way to put it. I really like that answer, and it definitely kind of explains it. Do you have any restrictions? To me, there's really no difference. Like you said, the only difference is the financial responsibility. Do you feel like as agents you have any restrictions, or you feel like you can basically do anything you would do as the broker?
Yeah, because of the brokers that we're under, they give us full creative control. So like if you're looking at like big name companies and stuff like that, you have to operate as them. You have to use their logo. But for us, people really think that we are brokers because we're so out here and independent. So it's just very great for us.
Yeah, and then as far as like if there's any issue or something that I would need, like anything, let's say if it's a load board or something that I would need or anything I would need to help progress my business, I don't have to come out the pocket for that. I can easily be like, hey, I think we need to look into this or that because I know it'll grow my business. Like, for example, Zoom Info. You ever heard of that one? The lead generation. That's $36,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, I heard of Zoom Info. It got great leads. They looked into it and gave it to all of us.
Right.
Every branch has access. You know what I'm saying? So,
because at the end of the day, it's definitely going to help their growth as well.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right.
Exactly. So it's just like, it just takes away the overhead, and like the cost that I end up paying them is pretty much minimal at the end of the day when you think about how much leverage I have in the market. You know what I'm saying? And everything I have. So it all works out great.
Yeah.
Right. That's amazing. So tell us a little bit about what you guys do. So we know you have the agency and you also have an amazing mentorship program. So if someone was to just come in the gate and say, hey, I don't want to be a broker, I don't want my own thing, I want to be a sub agent or an agent, how would that work? What's up with your mentorship program?
Well, you want to go?
You go ahead.
Okay. Well, we have people to come in because what I noticed is back when we first, like probably a couple years in, you know, I'd be in all these Facebook groups, stuff like that. And I would see people that reached out to me maybe a week prior. It was like, I just got an MC. I need help learning the business. And next thing you know, you see a post from them saying, hey, hiring agents and stuff like that. And you see all these different posts. I get phone calls from people saying, hey, I just started a freight brokerage. Where do I hire agents to build my business for me? You know what I'm saying? So I saw so much of that. And I'm like, you know, I get phone calls from people who got burnt by people like that. Or, you know what I'm saying, didn't get paid, or their systems was, you know, messed up, or they got loads but couldn't get them covered because carriers wouldn't take them. Right. So I was like, you know what, let's start something where people can kind of come in. So I talked with the owners and it was like, you know what, we can have something where it's a funnel system. So basically our program is like, it's a 6-week coaching program. At first we had it like a online platform, people go in there and kind of self-train, but we weren't having high success rates of people getting customers because people go in there. Usually you got like an online platform, somebody rush through the platform, they be like, okay, I'm done.
I'm ready.
But then they didn't really read it. They ain't absorbed you know what I'm saying? So you're like, they don't understand what they're doing. They're just out there and they feel like they lost money and stuff like that. So we changed it up. So now we do a 6-week coaching program. So where we actually, each week we have different steps from point A to point B, setting up your business, setting up your email, setting up your office, organization tips, prospecting customers, where to look, what to say,
carrier sales. We give out leads.
Yeah. So many different ways on locking in customers because what I noticed is so many people take a freight broker training and it just gives you the basics, like how to get your freight broker started, how to get your MC, how to get your story, all that basic stuff. But we all know that's in the business, it's bigger than just getting it set up. You have to be able to get customers.
What do I say to customers?
Yeah. What system do I have in place to service those customers? What is my service? What's my value to a customer in the first place? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even know that because like you're trying to service someone, you don't even know what their needs are. Like what is your place in the market? So we try to just break everything down to the simplest form for everybody. And what we've seen is higher success rates.
Yeah. And then when someone actually signs on to our program, out the gate, they are a freight agent under us. So you don't have to go looking for work or anything like that. So you're essentially building your business when you come, you know, through the door. And then you still get access to the online training platform as well. It's self-paced. So you still get that on top of the mentorship. So our classes are like every Wednesday for about 3 hours. And when I tell you, like, it doesn't get boring. We are so nervous every time we get ready to do these classes. Like, oh my God, we're going to be talking so much. We're going to be doing it, but it's informative. Like people are so excited, getting information, being able to talk to the business owners every week, you know, hopping in our private Facebook group, in our private Telegram. So they're getting us literally, it's nothing pre-recorded. And we give a lot of information and it's not just us. We have other successful freight agents in the company who come on and talk about how they started, where they're at, what their niche is, how much they made, you know, all this stuff. So you're hearing it from all angles.
Yeah. A lot of people got attracted to us in the first place, like by seeing us on Truck and Hustle, you know what I'm saying? Hearing about us having $100,000 a month, you know what I'm saying? But just for us to have $100,000 a month, you got to realize for the most time, we're in 5th place, you know what I'm saying? In this company, it's only 13 branches. The number one agent in this company, she made over $12 million last year.
As a freight agent.
As an agent.
And that's
her cut?
Yeah. 12 million.
And that's after her split. So it's like when people think about percentages, I don't want to pay a percentage. I want 100%. It's never going to be 100%, guys. Never going to be 100%.
Even if you're your own brokerage, it's not going to be 100%.
It's not.
Think about expenses,
like, no. I don't get where that concept comes from. You know what I'm saying?
Mindset, and I'm pretty sure you guys see it in the industry. It's just a mindset. Like, you know, it's cool. It's nothing wrong with entrepreneurship, but sometimes you have to realize that maybe that's not for you. Maybe you need the structure of another company to help you grow.
Right.
And if you put in the work and you actually take the steps to be successful, you'll find that those percentage, you're not missing that percentage because you're putting in the work, getting your clients and doing everything you need to do. So yeah, it's definitely a mindset of a lot of people in the industry where it's like, oh no, I don't want to share that, or I'm just gonna do my own thing. But then at the end of the day, you start your own thing. Now it's like, okay, so what I'm supposed to do now?
Yeah. It's 6 months and I don't even have a shipper. I don't even know what to say to this shipper.
I don't even know what to say to a shipper or where to get.
I get those calls all the time. Like, man, look,
and it's disheartening.
I'll pay you whatever. I'll pay you whatever just to do a one-on-one with me and somebody had this brokerage for a year or whatever. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna even. I got to figure out some other kind of course to where I can just train straight people who have their own brokerages because I get tons of phone calls.
Yeah. I like the fact that you guys said you tried the self-paced course and it just didn't work out for you. I was definitely in that same predicament. I like talking to the people. I like having my interactive class because they talk back, they ask questions. And then, one may answer a question that, the shy ones didn't want to, couldn't ask. So then they're over there like, oh, thank you for asking that question. So it's more interactive and you actually, people get shocked when they find out like I actually teach my courses. You're getting that knowledge, that the years of experience from, people like us to be able to pour it back into you. And then whatever the price it is that we charge, I promise you it's not enough because we've already taken the wrong steps. We've already done all the wrong things and we're trying to give it to you step by step the correct way. So yeah, I definitely understand, steering away. I still have the self-paced course, but it's, kind of like you said, you take my live course and you'll get the self-paced course as well, just kind of like to go back and follow up.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Q&A just didn't get it because we would do that self-paced course and then we would still have Q&A every week. And it was just like, people started half showing up. Like you said, the shy ones won't ask the question. So it's like, what are we missing?
Right.
What can we do? Yeah.
So like we had to get link up with the right people to help us put everything in the right places to where we can build more of a community. So we have more of a community structure with a Telegram group, private Facebook group. So that way, like it's everything. Because a lot of people get disheartened. When you hear so much rejection, you're trying to build your business, stuff like that. It's not immediate. You know what I'm saying? You get disheartened to have a group of people that's pretty much in the same situation you are, trying to build up, and everybody's getting up every morning, encouraging each other, saying good morning, let's get it.
Right.
Celebrate each other's wins.
Love that. Yeah.
So it's just all about that. That way it gives someone else hope. Like, okay, if you see this person got 2 customers in 1 week and already making money, then it puts a fire up under you. So like last week, it was on fire. It was like credit app after credit app coming in, people getting loads and stuff. So it's like just that community and that fire.
Just that credit app, because it's kind of like pulling teeth to get that credit app in sometimes.
Right. It's like we just be telling these shippers like just fill out the credit app. There's no obligation. Just fill it out.
That way you already set up. If anything come about, we don't have to worry about none of that. I could just go ahead and move your load.
Always out the way. Exactly.
I haven't looked for no new customers, and it's been a minute, like years I look for new customers because I've just been getting referrals. So I haven't sent out credit out.
And that's how you want your business to be set up to the fact where of course you're constantly marketing yourself and marketing your brand, but at the end of the day, when you hear a referral or when you hear, I heard it 3 times today, actually, someone referred me to you, or I was getting such and such done. And then they told me that, to come to you for dispatching, or I was doing this and they told me that you handle this. So it's definitely like word of mouth is the best form of your marketing your business, because that's someone who actually use your services, they like your services, and they're going to tell somebody else about it. So that's definitely the best form, because they're literally getting firsthand, and of course your reviews, but definitely hearing from somebody firsthand saying I was referred to you. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's great. One of them was from a chick. I didn't even know she liked me, but she asked me first. I was like, hey. I read that wrong.
One thing about it, like the freight industry is big, but it's small. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So most of these shippers, like they end up knowing each other one way or another, because you gotta think like these people aren't new. They didn't start these businesses last year. A lot of these businesses they've been in business 30, 40 years. So they know Joe who got the warehouse making shoes down.
They probably having beers with them right now. Which brings me to my next question as far as like relationships. I teach all the time how important relationships are, dispatchers building relationships with brokers, and things like that. So how do you guys, feel about like relationships, like couriers coming to you and you like, okay, that didn't work out, or, dispatching, giving someone that's a dispatcher your freight and, they're not moving it correct. How do you feel about those relationships, and how important is that for dispatchers and carriers to maintain their names and their brands when they're coming to you?
That's a loaded one.
I know. That's why, because I preach it all the time. Let them hear it from someone else.
Because I might get a little long with it.
Okay, we good.
It is super important because that's what this industry is all about in the first place, is relationships. And if I'm building a relationship with a dispatcher and I can't get in contact with you, or you're laughing when I ask you, where's the driver? Oh, I think he's on site. No, I need to know, because I worked my butt off to get this shipper.
Yep.
So I need direct communication. I can't go to my shipper and say, I think he's on site. When I set this up with you, I laid out the ground rules and everything. And of course, it's in my rate confirmation too, but I always want to make sure like all key factors are pointed out before you take the load in the first place.
Right.
So communication, I cannot stress that enough. And the relationships. Now the thing about it too, like as brokers, we can go out like on Carrier 411 and stuff like that if we have issues and report a company. Yeah, so as a dispatcher, if you know what I'm saying, talking crazy, this, that, and the third, or whatever, I'm putting a report on that carrier. It's nowhere I can go online and put a report for a dispatcher. So you are literally messing up this company's reputation.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? By not having good communication or bad attitudes or, all kinds of stuff. And we want to work with everybody, but we only have select dispatchers that we deal with because we know the communication is going to be there. They don't mind giving their drivers phone numbers. They're going to answer the phone. They got after hours dispatch. Like all of that stuff is very important because I worked hard to get my shipper. So if I'm giving you my freight, I need you to have the same respect, because once my freight gets on your truck, that's my freight and my truck for that moment.
Yeah,
I agree.
And that's big, like that, because that relationship that I built with that shipper, it takes a while to get a shipper to be able to really trust you, to be able to like represent them, because most time that person that I'm speaking with at that shipper, they're not the owner of the company. They work for the owner, so they got a boss to answer to. So if I mess up or you mess up,
we messing the whole line messed up.
It reflects on them, and it just goes all the way crazy. And a lot of people, they'll be thinking it's just one load, but that one load, you gotta think some of these customers make us $1 million plus a year. So you mess up one load with $1 million customer, that's a lot of money. $1 million is a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to lose that if you put that much work into it. So that's why like I'm super selective about the relationships I build with dispatchers and carriers. Like it's just like with anything else. If I have a conversation with you and I'm not really feeling the conversation, like they're like, hey bro, and doing all that, and I hear a bunch of noise in the background, like it's a boiler room or a bunch of other people on the phone, or if I hear like babies and stuff, I'm not confident in, you know what I'm saying, in what I got going on. And I want to make sure that, you're like, especially that first load. If I have to call you for updates and stuff like that, and I'm having to chase you down for the POD, I don't know if the driver picked up, he got all the right stuff. I don't know nothing. I'm having to
dispatch, I don't know where the driver at.
Yeah, I gotta call you. It's an issue.
And then calling you for hours, and then your carrier's not picking up, and then we don't want to hound the carrier because we know they're out there driving. Carriers have a lot of stress too, so we don't want to have to keep calling them. So we're relying on that dispatcher to be our open line of communication, while that driver is out there. So if it's been hours and I can't get anybody, and then my shipper's on my back, then it's like, okay, we got to report the freight is stolen. Now that's a whole nother situation.
Whole nother situation.
Whole nother situation.
The crazy part is, but if you have a solid dispatcher that's on their stuff, and you build a solid relationship with, I know like one time we was in Vegas, and I was like, I'm getting up in the morning, I was out going to the casino and I was out, but I had a bunch of loads that day. I literally just sent our loads to a dispatcher because I knew she could handle them.
Right.
He was like, what's the rate? I said, just let me know what rate and I'll send it up. I didn't care the rate.
Right.
Because I know she's just going to get the job done.
Right.
Like, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? I'm able to, it ain't about what the rate is, it's the service. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll take a little bit of a loss on what I would have made.
Can you say that one
You know
more
what I'm
time?
saying?
Say that one more time.
I'll take a little bit of loss. Like if I know I could have made $300 on this load, but instead I'm gonna make 180. But I'm not gonna have to chase this truck down. Yeah. I can enjoy my day because I got plenty of load. I'm gonna be like, boom, go ahead and get that. You take care of it real quick. You know, you happy. I'm happy. Your driver happy and all that
Shipper
stuff.
happy.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
I tell people all the time in my training, a broker or agent does not want to lose a shipper. So they'll give that carrier the more money. If they know they're going to move the load, they can trust that carrier. They've dealt with that carrier and they build that relationship. It's not all about, oh, I want to make 30% on this load or whatever the case, because you have that volume coming back from that shipper. But if you mess it up with the shipper, it's way more money that you're losing. Yeah. So as dispatchers, if we build those relationships with brokers, then it opens up a whole range. I get emails every single morning of relationships that I have built with brokers. Like you said, just list the loads. So it's all about me matching my trucks. Where are my trucks located? I can handle this one, this one, this one. I can't handle something, then I'm going through and, you know, reaching out to some of the other dispatchers or whatever the case may be. But like you said, it's that trust that they build, that they know that, okay, she's not going to send me no bullshit ass carriers. They're going to run my loads and there's not going to be any issues. It's been plenty of times that I've looked and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to send this carrier, not this one. I'd rather go search for another carrier if I've already know that this one carrier, I'm not going to mess up my relationship for this one carrier. So it's important, you know, that as dispatchers, we are, you know, building ourselves, building our brand and being careful who, you know, you're contracting your services out to. It's not all about, you know, I need more carriers, but be very selective of the carriers that you're bringing on. Because nowadays, y'all hear me say this all the time. They got PPP money. They don't went and bought a truck. And that's all they know. They don't know the rest of it. And from there, it just messes up and it messes up your relationship, because now you can't call Devin back and say, yeah, I know I messed up last time, but you got any more loads today? Because he's going to be like, no. If he answers the phone.
Oh, no, I will answer the phone and then I will talk about you. Like, oh, yeah, this is a lady who messed my load up last time. I remember you. Yeah, no, you definitely ain't getting no more of my freight. I don't even know why you calling.
Exactly. Even though, you know, the carrier is the one driving the truck, but at the end of the day, it's relationships that you're trying to build yourself. So you just have to be really, really selective of, you know, how you mesh those relationships. You know, take time to educate your carriers. Like, you need to be on time. I had a shipper call me one day, was like, don't ever send that truck to me ever again. And I was like, what happened? And he was like, she showed up with a white beater and some pink flurry flip-flops. And I was like, oh my God, like I could not believe she had did that. And she was like, it was early. I didn't feel like getting dressed. Okay, never booked another load for her again.
Oh my God. We love when we get them phone calls with shippers like, look, I love this guy. He was very mannerable. He was on time. Please send him. He was dressed nice. We love getting those type of phone calls, because guess what? It looks good on the carrier. It looks good on us. It looks good on my customer. And if my customer has a customer, it makes them look good. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like, a lot of customers have customers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I literally got one trucking company that did a load for a customer. I'm sorry, and it was a hard lane. You know what I'm saying? But they did it for them. They did such a good job, and my customer actually was the one who received the freight, who unloaded it. So he was like, I like the driver. He was like, I got these for the rest of the week. Same carrier, same driver. Then
dedicated line.
And then it just got to the point every week. Now I just pretty much
copy and paste.
He go to paperwork.
Easy money.
Yes.
You got a dedicated lane just for having a good attitude. He makes great money every day. He wakes up, and the load ain't nothing but 90 miles.
Right.
It's a small, short load. He makes like $1,500.
Wow. Professionalism, brand, being polite. People going to those shippers like, man, how much longer it's gonna take for y'all to load my truck?
Lord, we don't have the man. We don't have to.
She was like, oh, clench my pearl.
Yeah, made my chest start itching.
I'm like, look, sir, we paid attention. Just sit still. Well, you call these folks, and I'm like, man, this is Walmart. I cannot call Walmart and tell them push you ahead of the line because you're in the truck and you mad.
Right.
You already know it's Walmart. You might as well go in there and go shopping.
Do something like, man,
You're gonna be there a while.
Right. It's perfect. And then we definitely paid attention. We not those broker that, run off and not gonna pay you, don't answer the phone. Like, we want to make sure you straight and we're fair.
I want to pay you the attention. That way I can make some more money. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Whatever I pay you, I'm adding on top of it. So I want to make sure you get that. I'm not gonna forget about that.
I know that's right. So let's talk about detention a little bit, because of course, in a dispatch class, I talk about some of those things that occur during your load, two-news, lumpers, detention. One thing I stress, not only in training, but also to my carriers, that if you are late for a load, you do not qualify for detention time. So if your appointment time was at 9:00 and I'm asking, what's going on, where you at? And it's 10:00, you rolling up. And then you saying, yeah, I need detention. How do you get detention paid if you were late?
Correct.
They got to work you in.
Right. That means they're working you in your schedule. And this particular time, they told him to come back at 1:00.
Yeah.
Because they had other trucks that was in line. So in reference to detention pay, how is important is it for you to abide by what's on your Raycon, what's your rules, if it's FCFS, first come, first serve over an appointment time.
Well, if it's first come, first serve, usually I put on my rate confirmation. I need to pick up no later than 4. I don't care if they close at 5, 6 o'clock. I want to pick up no later than 4. Anything after 4, I need a heads up. You need to be letting me know. But I never have those issues. I'm really, really thorough in screening my carriers before I even put them on the load. But usually that's the issue. But if it's an appointment time and you're late and they hit me up like I'm waiting, be like, man, look, the appointment time was 9 o'clock.
So whatever they tell you is what you got to do.
Man, I want some money. I'm gonna leave, sir. You don't want to leave. I had to call the insurance company. It'd be a big old. Right. Then I gotta do all this stuff, and the police come and ask you, and all you had to do is wait 30 more minutes. Now you gotta deal with a whole issue with your insurance, your money. Come on, bro. 30 more minutes. Then you get paid detention. Like, this stupid. Right. You're gonna give up money just so you can lose money.
Exactly.
Ants ain't got nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
Just burning fuel.
What's that? Burning fuel?
Burning fuel.
Nowhere to go. He's trying to get in the line for that shower.
Okay.
I feel you, brother. But hey, when you up under this load, it's mine. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. If you're there, you gotta stay there till they get unloaded. You can't be like, well, I'm gonna just leave and come back when I feel like it. No, you can't make up your own rules, sir.
Exactly. It sure don't work like that. Let's take some of these questions. Truck Hurston, if I'm saying that wrong, you can unmute yourself and tell me. I think it's a Chuck Hurston. Are you still on the line?
Hey.
It's happening.
Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody. This is Satidra, but that's the name of my company. Is Trucker Sense, so it's one word.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
Okay.
What was your question?
Oh,
so when you are introducing yourself to a broker as a new dispatcher, do you need a DOT or MC number? You as a dispatcher?
Yes, ma'am.
Dispatchers cannot have DOT and MC numbers. You don't need an authority to move to dispatch freight. So when you're introducing yourself, I always tell you guys, make sure you're introducing yourself as a dispatcher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any different other than that, Hudson's?
No.
Yeah. Introduce yourself as a dispatch, because you don't need, you're just introducing yourself. Hey, this is Tawana with Gold Star Logistics. These are the type of trucks that I moved. If you guys have any freight in these areas or any freight for this type of equipment, can you please add me to your list? And call them until they tell you to stop calling them. Send them an email. I'm email them every morning until they tell me not to email no more.
Email. We had one lady.
Email.
We had one lady who called my phone like last week. She called like 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday, right? Yeah, I was already.
Did she take my class?
I don't know, but first, I was pissed off by the 6. I put my phone on mute. About 7 o'clock.
Called again.
Going again. I said, babe, this lady right here gonna get my nurse. I started talking to her the night before. So then about 7:30, I said, look in. So T answered the phone, talks to yeah, I was calling to see if y'all had any loads. I said, you the same person that called me at 6 o'clock this morning? Yeah, yes, sir. I was calling to see if you had any loads. At 6 o'clock in the.
Because we knew It is crazy because I had already talked to her 3 times to let her know how we operate and how everything goes. But she was just like, bump
She
what
was
you said.
persistent. She was trying to get ahead of the game.
Yeah,
I'm like,
her
look here.
husband was getting on her nerves because he got that Sprinter advantage just sitting there.
I'm like, look here, don't call my phone before 9 o'clock.
No, she wasn't in my class. She was not in my class, no Sprinter van.
I only answer the phone for no customers till 9 o'clock in the morning. I
I
was
know,
like,
right? Wow. All right, Mr. Tyron, what's the lines between making sure the trip is good and the driver is being safe? Tyron, come on and explain your question, honey.
What I mean is like, you know how like I had an incident just now with I had a driver who was a team driver, and the broker had a thing called macro point, where he's able to look at where they're at all times. So he was going from Nebraska to Greensboro, and the driver had pulled over to stay at a hotel for 3 hours, but he was still on course to be there on time. The broker had called me like, hey, like, you know, what's going on? We need to get a move on. They're just kind of sitting. And I go back to them and say, hey, guys, you know, we just got to get a move on. I said, they're tired, but we got to get the freight there. And they said it was no problem. They got on. And he ended up getting there an hour early. So I understand the broker was frustrated, but I was like, okay, so what's the line? But like, why can't they rest up a little bit if they're going to be there on time? Like, what are you upset about? Like, that's what I mean by, you know, making sure the freight is moving. The freight is moving, but the driver needs to take some time himself. He needs to, you know, relax a bit. Because God forbid he's overtired and he gets into an accident where he loses that freight because he's not being conscious about it. What do we do?
That's a loaded one.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you a couple different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Perspective number one, of course, you want the driver to get there safely. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell everybody, I want you to drive safe. And of course, get the freight there on time. But for number two, you have a couple of different situations that can go on. For one, you have a customer who, especially if it's a team load, they'd be like non-stop, no stopping. Like I have some freight to where my customers say driver must not stop for period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
At least 200 miles
outside.
outside.
They got all kind of weird restrictions, but you know, especially they got macro point or trucker tools lit up, a lot of times there's a lot of eyes on those shipments. So let's say if they saw it stop and the customer went back and looked at it, and they'd be like, why is the truck still stopped?
Mm-hmm.
And they're hitting them up. You have to be like overbearing, or what's that word? What's the word your dad used? What's the other word?
Shoot.
Have a sense of urgency about it as a freight agency. Like that's how we were taught, you know what I'm saying? Everything must be handled with a sense of urgency. So like if her dad had been the broker on that, I know he would have called like, where's the truck? He needs to be moving right now. You know what I'm saying? He pulled over, my customer looking at all this lot of eyes on the load. Come on, man. He can't be stopping, man. He's gonna make it on time. And you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of people in the industry that are just like that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times that's why they're so successful, because the customer wants them on top of those loads like that.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times it ain't really them pushing you, like, you know, shit rolls downhill. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's pretty much how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually coming from up and it's gonna roll down to you. From you down to the driver.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it was a team.
Yeah.
They don't expect them to stop. That's why they requested
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because while
I
one
put teams resting, I had one of those a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, "We sleep," and I said, "We
right.
that would be sleep."
Like the purpose is one supposed to be sleep and the other supposed to be driving, right? So
when you said that,
I was like, messed up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was like, that don't sound right. Talk about we sleep. You a team driver. Somebody's supposed to be sleep. Somebody's supposed to be driving at all times. That's the purpose of having two people in the truck.
But then the customer be like, is it really a team?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It seems like a solo. I want to make
both
sure
y'all on the phone at the same time.
You didn't have enough hours. You
Yeah.
didn't check and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, teams, no, they ain't supposed to pull over.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely understand. Like I said, it's definitely you know, different perspectives you can look at that as. Like you said, it's 9 times out of 10, it's not the broker, it's the shipper trying to find out where's my freight, why is my freight not moving. They're sitting there, you know, literally looking at that, you know, looking at that micro point. Like you know, it's one thing not to move for like 15 minutes or 30 minutes, but to not move for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Something went wrong in his hours of service. He didn't shut down for 10 hours. He didn't do something right that he needed a whole 3 hours to break. Because typically, if you're doing what you're supposed to do with your hours of service, you've gotten your you've gotten 10 hours shut down. So, now you're just working on your 30-minute break and 2 15-minute breaks. So for 3 hours is, a little bit more, maybe be into that. But I mean, you just have to understand, you never know what's on the back of that truck when it comes to freight or something being fragile or something being expensive. So people just want to know where their stuff are. Hell, I'm on FedEx right now trying to figure out what my dollars are.
Oh, you ain't getting that no time soon.
So we anxious and want to know.
Yeah,
that's one thing. I'm one of my first customers. I didn't have Macro Point at the time. You know what I'm saying? We want updates every 2 hours. This was 5 years ago before technology kind of expanded.
Right.
But, I really had to call drivers every 2 hours for updates.
Right.
Where you at? About 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So, how it was.
Yeah. Just want to know where my stuff at. Sometimes just maybe a little email saying, to a broker. The more emails you send to the broker, the better. Because that way they don't have to keep calling you. Hey, just want to give you an update on the load. Driver's doing good, ETA is great, and that type of stuff. So you always want to make those check calls. If you're about to shut down for the day, hey, it's 5 o'clock, I'm shutting down, let the driver's still on the road. He's scheduled for, to be on time. We'll touch bases with you in the morning for our ETA. Just doing those check calls with the broker, it makes everything go way more smoother.
Absolutely.
So when I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is check my email. As I roll up, I don't want to call nobody.
Right.
I check my email. I scroll down my list. I say, okay, this driver's on site. This truck is about to start rolling again at 8. So I know what's going on. So I shouldn't have to be like, let me get down here to my desk and call such and such. Then they finally answer an hour later. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to.
Right. Email is way better, trust me.
Yeah.
All right. Miss Cheryl says, how can we start a relationship with Hudson Freight when we get carriers? Look at you with a head of ask.
The best way I say is shoot me an email. I have folks that call me throughout the day and they'll be giving me the information. I end up writing on a piece of paper and I lose it. So I tell everybody, shoot me an email.
I'm gonna drop it in the chat.
Tia's gonna drop our emails in the chat. Shoot us an email with your carriers information.
Get a whole bunch of emails.
All that good stuff. Hey, I guess right now, man, dry vans and flatbeds and flatbed hot shots. You got them jokers, man. Holla at me. Oh, it's straight trucks.
Hot shots. Valencia.
Straight truck loads out of Louisville, Kentucky, man. Anybody got large straight trucks with reasonable price out of Louisville, Kentucky? You like have free goods on there.
What GSL at? Y'all, what my dispatch? That's what's up. All right. Miss Kelly says, has a new dispatch. I think it's supposed to be as a new dispatcher. How do you connect and build relationships with driver, carrier, and brokers? Miss Kelly, where you at? Where you at?
Hey, I'm sorry. I meant to say as a new.
Yeah, I saw the second part.
So as a new dispatch, are we supposed to come in under a company like Hudson or Gold Star Logistics? How do you build those relationships? How do you, get the driver or the carrier and, find the loads and make those connections as a new person coming in?
You need to take Gold Star Logistics dispatch training if you're going to be a dispatcher. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
If you want to be a freight broker agent and take your dispatching business to a whole nother level, that's when you holler at us.
Definitely as a new, thank you, Deacon.
Right.
Definitely as a new dispatcher, it's important for you to market and brand yourself. It's important for you to, to get out there and meet those truck drivers. Sometimes you have to meet those drivers where they are. Once you start building your brand and getting your information out there, those drivers are going to be your number one way of how you get business. And for us, that's what happens. A driver will see someone, hey, where you get that load from? Oh, hit this girl up, so and so. So you got to get up there and build your brand. One thing I tell people all the time, no one has ever taken my class can ever say that I told them that dispatching is easy. Because you got to get out there and build, just like freight agent, you got to build your book of business, build your clientele, and constantly market yourself and constantly, be putting yourself out there as a professional dispatcher in order for you to maintain your clients. Because drivers are going to come and go. They're going to find somebody that's dispatching for them 5 cents cheaper, or they truck going to break down, or they're not going to be in compliance, so they can't run no more. So you constantly have to market and brand yourself. So it's important. And as far as brokers, when you start dispatching those loads, every single rate con is a relationship. Every time you have a rate con, that's relationship. Hey, Tom, this is Tawana. We booked that load last week, just checking to see if you got anything else in my area for this week. Or here's a list of my trucks that I have available this week. You have anything moving in my area? They have people contacting them all the time, but you have to stay fresh on their minds. So if you're not emailing them every day, or you're not, being in some kind of contact with them every day, they forget about you and post their load on the load board or call someone else. So you have to be very assertive and do your due diligence in this industry to make sure that you're able to, to maintain, what it is that your goals as a dispatcher. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, Ms. Don't kill me if I say your name. Leslie Ann Williams.
Hi.
Hey, boo.
Good evening.
Hey, boo. Hey.
Hello, Tawana. All right. So, hi, good evening, everyone. So, quick question. Hopefully, I'm going to explain this right. So, Mr. Tawana, I have the one box truck here, which is my dad. We've run into this issue where he would go to pick up a load from a warehouse or whatever, and it's like they're like late on their end, where he would be having to wait 40 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, which cuts into obviously his time as a driver. Then it goes into their driver's time. So like, how do you deal with that situation when warehouses are like, late on that end, but then you're trying to like satisfy the driver at the same time? Like the driver's getting frustrated, you're not frustrated. Like, how does that go?
You really have no control over that. Of course, we have a 9 o'clock appointment time. We want to be able to get in there at 9 o'clock. That's not always going to be the situation. I would definitely tell you, if it gets too out of hand, you call your broker. Let your broker deal with the shipper. You don't want to get irate and out of hand with the shipper. That's that broker's customer. So if there's something going on with that load and you're not able to get loaded on time, reach back out to the broker where you got that load and say, hey, can you contact the shipper, find out what's going on, whatever the case may be. But it's just one of those things where it's not always going to be at that 9 o'clock. And it's crazy because they want us to be on time, but a lot of time they're not in that warehouse, getting things out on time. And it's not the driver's fault. Sometimes it's not, it's definitely not the broker's fault, but you do want to make the broker aware of, what's going on so he can contact his own client and find out what's going on.
Yeah. A lot of times it could be because right now a lot of shippers are dealing with COVID. Like COVID issues with employees being out, materials being short, stuff like that. So it could either be something where they're short staffed, or there could be a production issue with whatever freight you're getting. I know I had a truck there yesterday that had to pick up a load. The guy was like, yeah, I've been sitting here like 5 hours, man. It's crazy. Woo, woo. And I was like, man, look, I hit the customer up. They said we had an issue with the freight that was in production. We're trying to fix it. We should have them loaded in the next hour, hour and a half. I let them know, what I'm saying? Thank you for waiting. Please be patient. And I paid them. When it comes to detention, I'm not one of those people that be like, you're going to get this little bit of rate. Like, how much you need for your time? He let me know. I sent it to him. Okay. It wasn't no issue. But, but like I tell any driver, because I've had those drivers that have the attitude problems. I've been here 30 minutes. You got to give me at least 2 hours, before you start asking for money, acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? I tell everybody, you got an attitude, man, they've been there cussing and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. You catch more flies with honey than you do with, you know what I'm saying? So I tell everybody, like, you had a good attitude, you go in there, you're nice. A lot of times they may move you up in the list. Or in the list and go ahead and try to get you loaded, especially if it's a small load or something like that. Yeah. But if you're in there yelling, carrying on, all that stuff, they're not going to be in a rush to help you. You know what I'm saying? So you got drivers like that, you know what I'm saying? You got to be that sweet go-between, like, look, man, go in there, try to hit them with some kindness, you know what I'm saying? And, definitely don't want to work them hot-head drivers because they'll mess you up. They'll mess you up. You got one like to cuss out and all that stuff, because what happens is they act a fool with the shipper. Right. You know what I'm saying? Then your customer end up calling you. And they're like, man, this guy over here, the shipper called me, whoop, whoop, and I got to pull him. And then I'm like, I'm not using him or you again. I put a freight guard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be like, yeah, don't use this carrier because they cussed out somebody, my shipper. Mm-hmm. And then I block you out of my system as a dispatcher.
And not only do we not utilize you, everybody in the company will not utilize you, because we put flames next to your name.
Yeah.
In our DLP.
Flames, hard flames everywhere.
Yep. And that don't mean you litty.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so Miss, hey Krista. For the mentorship program, do you have specific dates available for the future?
March 30th is our next class. We're already selling out. We're selling tickets on the March class. I know for everybody on here, we have a special code with the $500 off. I still drop the code in the chat. Was it freight agent?
Freight agent.
Yeah, freight agent.
No.
500 off for everybody on this live. Showing love. But yeah.
Okay, so March 30th is the next one.
Yeah, March 30th is going down. We actually currently in our fifth. This our fifth week. Yeah, fifth week of our current class. And I'm gonna tell you, like by week 2, we already had people that had custom move freight.
Oh wow.
That's serious. Like they supposed to be catching on, you know what I'm saying? Oh, like man, we so proud. Like, wow, dude, I had one young lady by week 2, she actually had 2 customers.
Wow.
Pushing.
Love the results.
Yeah, she got dedicated lanes. She got 9 dedicated lanes coming up out of Texas. But yeah, just blesses, man, to be able to show people this game the right way and give
without the knowledge, without the book of business.
Yeah, people don't know what a truck is, but we show you different ways. Like it's not as hard as people make it because a lot of people you'll work hard but not smart. You don't know the right ways to go about selling because everybody want to buy a script. Everybody want to say what everybody else saying, but that don't work.
I hate when people ask me that. You got a script? Like you don't want no script. You gonna start to sound just like everybody else.
Everybody else.
Everybody got 1,000 trucks in your area.
I'm a freight broker. The word they hate the most. You don't say that.
Wait, I'm sorry. You said the person got 2 shippers in their first couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why we telling people, like a lot of people like, man, which one is hard dispatching to being freight? It's the same. It's gonna take you the same amount of time to be able to find you a truck driver to be able to work for you as it would to find a customer to give you their service. You know what I'm saying? My biggest thing is doing business with a actual business. To me is a lot easier than having to rely on the personal relationship of a carrier, because a lot of carriers, which I know personally because her mama a carrier too, so she'd be out on the road one week, the next week she'd be like, I ain't riding this week, I'm going to casino. So she gonna ride like 3 days, then she gonna go to casino because she done made enough money. You know what I'm saying? Or you think about like the truck breakdown, they down, so you can't make no money. So I'm like, everything this driver do is going to affect my money.
Yeah.
But the only difference is, like with us, is we get a customer and a driver, let's say a driver truck breakdown, I just find another one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it don't stop my money. That's the big thing about it.
Absolutely. All right, Miss LaShante, please, if I'm mispronouncing y'all name, forgive me. I'm from the hood. Hello, a lady with a freight brokerage is going to bring us on the team as a team freight agent. Our question is, what are your top 2 tips to secure customers in addition to building relationships?
First,
make sure that brokerage is stable and strong first.
Yeah, that's all I was just about to say. Because a new brokerage can, kind of kill your business, because let's just say you have a shipper and you have to post that load on the load board or whatever, and a carrier calls and you're not set up with their factoring company. Sometimes like, well, I can't use you because you're not set up with my factoring company.
Only half up front.
Yeah. And so you lose out because you can't even move that load, even though that broker may say, well, you know what, I'll pay you 80% more than what other brokerages pay. It's very attractive,
right?
But it equals 0 because you can't move the loads.
We had one guy that hit us up and he was like, I'm with this brokerage, they're paying me 80%, but I'm able to get customers. I got customers, but I can't get a truck to take my loads.
Right.
Because they say the MC is too new. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's step 1. You want to make sure that company's MC is strong, they're financially stable, because a lot of customers do look at financials. Especially nowadays, you want to make sure that you're able to pay the carriers and you're on solid financial footing. That's why we send our customer packet, we send like all our banking references and stuff like that, because the company we're up under is like a $40 million company. So we're not, they're strong, so we're able to get bigger customers.
We didn't have to rely on factoring.
Yeah, so that's number 1. You want to make sure your financials of that company are straight too, that they're solid brokers. Then when you're going out to get customers, my biggest thing is first off, do yourself. Know what their pain points are, what their needs are, and then you pretty much service those needs. Like you want to find a way to, like, for what it is, the bigger the problem, the bigger reward, pretty much.
Yeah.
If they're having a problem, like everybody's big problem right now is capacity. So you're able to find capacity for lanes that they're not able to find capacity for. Boom, you got a customer, you're a savior. So you gotta fix a problem for somebody
Gotcha.
to be better, but be yourself. Like we said, we was just saying, like, don't have a script. Number one,
Gotcha.
be yourself. And last tip, don't use the word freight broker.
All right. Appreciate it.
My biggest thing when I'm talking to shippers is, what problems are you having? You know, what can I be a solution for? How can I help you? You know, and you have to be honest with yourself too, because if they give you an answer and then you're like, yeah, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, don't be like, oh yeah, I got you. And then now it's like, okay, they're giving you a trial period to try it out and you can't even fulfill their needs. So, you know, it's important to listen to the client, do research on the customer. I had a young lady said in my mentorship program, she was calling shippers. She called one shipper and the shipper asked her, what commodities do we ship? And she gave the wrong answer. Like, you calling this person, you want to help them move their freight and you have no idea what commodities they ship.
Yep.
But you know what? That's because a lot of times people go into these calls just thinking like sell. I want to just sell. I'm going to throw up all of my information. Like I have people now, even dispatchers, carriers, whatever, when they call, it's like immediate. As soon as they get on the phone, I say hello, they're just going to their whole spiel. You know what I'm saying? They never got a chance to ask me what I do, what kind of trucks I have.
Exactly.
What your needs are.
What your needs are. So I always tell everybody in my program, it's a fact finding mission. Every time you're doing a sales call. You're not calling land. It's a dating process first of all. So you don't go when you meet a young lady, you don't walk up to her meeting and say let's be in a relationship, right? You court her, right? You know what I'm saying?
It depends how much money you got. Now,
money make a difference. I'm saying like if money plays no part,
on this call.
If money played no part, you know what I'm saying? You still have to court somebody, then it leads to a relationship. So it's the same thing, you know what I'm saying? You go through the courting process, then let it lead to a relationship. You don't just go in straight for the kills, not a hit and quit situation. So.
Got it.
And another thing is, agent, like, don't lead with pricing. Don't go in saying like I can save you money. We are not the cheapest, but our service is definitely worth it. So we never lead with pricing.
I can't save you, but I will save your ass.
Love it.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. How often do you all have freight for box trucks? Any tips on how to stand out as a carrier with exclusive box truck equipment?
I get that kind of freight daily. And both. I mean, to stand out, right now it's service and pricing. Because prices are everywhere. So like I got some box truck loads where I put out there, I send out to my list. You got some guys, it could be a 1,000-mile load. You got some guys they're gonna say 5,500, another guy gonna say 46, somebody gonna say 42. Then I'm gonna have that good guy that I like for 30, 32. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. Somebody gonna say 28. So I forgot all about them high ones. I'm looking at the 22 real quick.
And then if that MC break,
okay, lock it on in. How far away is it? Yeah, lock that in.
Great con
Get him locked in ASAP.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a high, I'm looking at price right now, capacity and price, and MC. I'm looking at it, all that. But yeah, price, big issue. A lot of people don't know how to price stuff, right. So you want to be competitive.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can say.
And for us, the market that we're in, our shippers don't give us pricing. So we're not that broker that already know, like, I got this much in the load. And we're trying to drive carriers down. That's not how we roll. So what you ask for is what you get, especially if the shipper says, okay, let's roll with it.
But I'm looking at who got the better price. You asked for what you get, but I'm like, yeah.
In other words, y'all call Tia, don't call Debbie.
Cause she'll be nice. She'll be like, oh yeah, like I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'm looking at your MC. Oh yeah, everything's great. And me, I'll be like, I got somebody else for 300 less. I'm like, no, don't even call them back. Don't even call them back.
I'm like, dang, she was so nice.
Story of my life.
I'm gonna quote off of that though. I'm gonna pay this up.
All right. I am a dispatcher currently in CDL training to gain insight from drivers' perspective. Eventually, I would like to purchase a few trucks. That is my long-term goal. I would like to link up with you all for freight agent class. That's what's up. Get that link in the link inside the chat. and take advantage of that $500.
You definitely want to hop into this mentorship, man. Trucking the profit is no joke because your dispatchers, a lot of y'all have the one thing that makes you all so special. You have capacity. So that's a great selling point as a freight agent. So let's just say you got 10 trucks up under you and you go into a shipper and you're saying, hey, I have a special fleet of trucks I dispatch up under me. I got 10 to 15 trucks. You're coming at that shipper with capacity already. What lanes do you have? They need capacity. You have a selling point right here in your freaking face.
It makes you asset based.
You know what I'm saying? It makes you asset based. You ever set up all your carriers and then you're their point of contact. So you have, hey, let me set you up on my brokerage side as well. That way we can go ahead and secure you from all angles. Well, if one of my carriers is down, I'll make sure you're covered.
Absolutely.
And that way you getting paid directly from the broker. You don't have to worry about, I think you guys got to get paid from the carrier, wait on the carrier pay or whatever.
Broker pay us every week. So
right.
Any load that deliver Friday by noon, I got the paperwork for Saturday morning. I wake up, my money's in my bank account. Super simple.
I'm talking about.
You know
Miss Jessica Brown, you have your hand up.
Yes, how you guys doing this evening?
We love it.
All right. As again from the Midwest, and just curious about you talked about pricing and detention earlier, and looking at loads because the customers is both the shipper and your driver. That's the perspective I'm looking, because without the driver, we can't get it to the product. So my question is, if you do have carriers ask for detention and something happens via weather elements or a breakdown, how do you cover that? Do we just speak to the shippers per se, and let them know where the driver is? Because I know that was talked about a little bit earlier, as far as when the carrier is asking for detention, but the elements have gotten the best of him or her at that time to get that freight there on time.
As long as that communication is there, first of all, it's going to start with that, because you can't say, like the driver might have been an hour away. Then the next thing you know, the driver's 2 hours away. Like, it's not adding up. So you know what I'm saying? It's just the communication piece of it. So that way we can let our shipper know, and that way we can track it. Because sometimes we're not going to know if you're not on tracking that you actually showed up at the shipper. Yeah. So keeping track of your times and all that stuff. So when you get there, if you're late already for weather or whatever, and then you get there and you still got to sit over 2 hours, at least we know the communication was there and nobody was lying. So then we'll still pay attention.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A lot of times you'll know ahead of time you got an issue with your truck or it's going to be late. I have plenty of times where I wake up in the morning, I look at emails that came in my email at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, say, hey, driver had a hose that went out. He's getting the hose replaced. He's back on the road. It delayed him by this time. So by the time I wake up, I know everything that happened. They send pictures of the holes. They got proof, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff, what they did. So when I send that to the customer saying this is what happened, I send that same email first thing in the morning. His new ETA is this. So when you get there, you don't have to wait. They're already waiting for you and they know you're going to be late. Versus appointment at 10 o'clock and you're calling me at 9:30 in the morning saying he's going to be there at 11. Then I'm going to be like, let him sit. You know what I'm saying?
Or if you call it after the appointment time.
You
should be calling at 10:15. Like, there should have been some type of proactiveness going on, beforehand. Yeah. So, and also understand as a dispatcher, you're always calling the broker. You never want to contact the shipper and ask for detention time or contact the shipper and ask for anything. Your point of contact is the broker at all point in times. Do not call that shipper the Nathan. Period.
Unless the broker gave you authorization to do so. If we gave like a point of contact or something like that, because that does happen because we're not on site. So you might have to call a certain person to let you in a gate or, guide you in or something like that. But other than that, don't do it.
And you factor in your detention. If you have drivers that do that, you kind of do that with your pricing ahead of time. And then if you happen to pay that, then you have the money to pay that.
No, that's something that's added if needed. The price is, let's just say you say $1,500. So you get paid the $1,500. But if detention is factored in after the fact, then we go to the shipper and say, hey, I need an additional $200 for their time. And then we'll send you an updated rate con for $1,700.
Right.
$1,750 or whatever.
Yeah. You have to have that updated rate con for that new rate with that new rate.
Thank you.
Miss Valencia, GSL in the building.
Yes.
Mm.
Now, one, I heard y'all talking about something about a load for a flatbed hot shot in Kentucky. I can have one there tomorrow.
I have flatbed hot shots in Georgia. Mostly
I
in
got one in
Georgia.
Georgia. I got one in Georgia
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Kentucky is mostly like straight trucks.
Okay. Oh, I can have a
Got their
flatbed hot
email
shot in Georgia
address?
tomorrow.
Got
There we
their
go. I put my email down in there. But I have a question for you guys, because I work at building relationships with brokers. And at first it started off trying to be like super sweet, sugar sweet. But at the same time, I let that go real fast to make sure they understood, not being a pushover. How do you recommend for dispatchers to go about collecting tow news, brokers are holding off giving it while still building relationships? Because I can go nuclear and it just burn it all to the ground. Like, you're gonna give me my $150, but nothing gets accomplished after that. It's here's your little funky little $150 and you're done. But I want to figure out how to continue building relationships with it also, because one, I make sure I'm in constant communication with my broker, sending emails, letting them know exactly when my drivers arrive, so that when I come after detention pay, you already understand we've been talking. You know exactly what the situation is. But it seems like whenever I come to collect for the detention pay and things, it everything kind of goes south, and it's like, Valencia, we didn't know you wanted it. How do
you have it in email?
Oh, yes. I make sure to keep all emails and everything with them. But how do
All
I
freight
make sure
brokers are not created equal, and that's sad.
I know you saying your dad don't ever pay attention, right?
No.
I know you said-
Don't be lying about my dad.
I don't
Don't
know.
be coming for her,
Don't be
daddy.
lying about my dad.
I don't know. I think it was somebody.
That's right.
I don't know. What you're talking about. Well, I know some people said. I know somebody talked to somebody said they don't charge it. They don't pay attention.
I heard it somewhere, but it wasn't him.
It wasn't him.
Mm-mm.
How I have been going about it is like, while I have them on the phone, I'll be like, okay, here, let me just stay on the phone while you send it to me. Let's go ahead and do that now. But it ends up being like a rough situation afterward. It's like that understood, don't call me no more. But how would you recommend a dispatcher going about collecting it? Because I could care less about being nice. I'm trying to look out for my carrier, but at the same time, still bridging the gap and pushing through.
Yeah, I would say, man, once I get around that 2-hour mark, you know what I'm saying, I'll definitely hit them up. Hey, just letting you know my driver's still on site. We're heading into detention. Just want to kind of, a heads up before we get in there. Are you able to get them loaded?
I think she's talking about like after the fact, like
after. When it comes time for them to send that revised rate confirmation, and they're holding off and they're trying not to send it, like when all that's happening.
Sometimes, like, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I just like, are they responding to your email though?
They stop responding.
So this is the thing. If they don't respond to the email, I know how to look up people's phone numbers. I know how to find, like, I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna call whoever's sitting next to you. Yeah. I'm gonna call everybody like, hey, yeah, so I'm calling to try to get detention from them. Well, they're busy. Well, can you go ahead and get this sent through? It's in the emails. I can copy you in the email so you can go ahead and whoever can approve it. Like it.
I think I got like 3 of those calls coming in, because I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I ain't gonna lie. Like sometimes I might have like 60, 70 loads that I'll be running through, and so many emails that I will miss emails.
Yeah, but you don't ignore though.
No, I have some that I ignore because I've been in closed loadout for like 2 weeks. And then I finally get an email back from them 2 weeks later to myself, reaching out to you about the detention, but the load been closed out and invoiced already. I ain't about to open the load up and go through the whole thing.
But if it's that same day, like within hours, it's the same day, and it's like, we've had this conversation, you said, hey, I apologize, the shipper is taking too long, blah, blah, blah. And you emailed them about detention. They was like, okay, I'll get you that new rate con. And an hour goes by, 2 hours go by, nothing.
They probably just played you on that, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you got played.
Like in those situations like that, some of them, like, they'll be like, yeah, we're gonna pay it. And then the shipper be like, no, I'm not paying attention. Or it could be something like, no, it was your all-in rate. And they be like, I ain't about to lose no money. So I ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It could have been a situation like that. I call it what it is. I don't
just take it when you can get it.
Yeah. I don't really run to those issues, you know what I'm saying? Usually, like the shippers I get, because I get good shippers. Like if I say I need detention, I can go and get it, but sometimes like it could be an issue where I just missed the email. and they didn't, remind me of the email until like after the load and close a couple of weeks.
And then so like sometimes we've actually like taken money from, our commission to make sure that that carrier gets that that detention.
Yeah.
And then he'll work it out, and the shipper be like, well, you know what? Since you're gonna pay half, I'll pay the other half and make it work. You know what I'm saying? We have good shippers. Like we don't deal with shitty shippers.
Right.
So that's the difference between us and that brokerage. So if it's something we can't do, we can't do it. But as long as that communication is there, we definitely paying attention. We're not gonna ghost you on detention.
I'm not gonna, because I will seriously, but they be like, man, I ain't got that much on hold. Because sometimes you might get a truck to be sitting there like 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, you feel
and
bad.
They're like, I need $700. You be like, you go to the customer, I ain't got that in the load, man. I'll be like, look, man, I
Can
go
I add something to that too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said the same question I asked with that. After that situation happened to me, what I like to do now when I get that rate, when I talk to them about the rate confirmation, I'll be like, hey, in case the detention happens, have them write on it like, if this ends up being late, you're gonna put on there, you're gonna owe me this much extra money in case that happens. I have it written on the rate confirmation. I start asking for that.
You can write emails all day long or write stuff on, but if they stop answering, that's when it becomes touchy. Because I always tell the dispatchers, get everything in writing. You can, because they can say whatever they want on the phone, but I want to get confirmation. I want to get it in writing. Or I want it on the rate confirmation or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, if you when you have those incidents where they just stop answering, then it's like, what do we do? Where are we going from here?
Right. Yeah. But then isn't it just like how we can put, information out there about carriers? Can't they put information out there about, brokers? So that could be something, you could do if, you're having that issue, but it that sucks because we don't do that.
Okay. Definitely when you have information like that, is DAT, carriers can go in DAT all the time and write their reviews on carriers, on brokers, just like brokers can go and write, put a freight guard on a carrier. Carriers can write a review on a brokerage as well.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you have your documentation and you 100%, know that, you're right or whatever the case may be. Don't just go doing reviews just for no reason. That damages somebody's business. But if you felt like something happened or they, put it out there. We did that one time with the review, and the broker came back and said, if you delete the review, I'll cash app you the detention right now. Like, why I had to go through all that just
exactly.
Reputation, everything is business.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, because they don't want that. They don't want that mark there.
Mm-hmm. Right. They're gonna come back and respond now.
Right. As soon as you put that, they own it.
Yep.
Right. So how long is the discount good for the mentorship program? I guess until the class starts, right?
What's the January 31st? Probably about 3 weeks.
So
no, a month. Probably a month. Yeah. 4 weeks. 4 weeks.
Yeah. I got about 4 weeks to get signed up and use that discount code. It goes away.
Yeah, because the class get packed out quick. So
yes.
Really.
I have to use y'all income tax money.
Yeah. So okay.
Make sure y'all use that discount code.
Okay.
Our last class was packed. You know what I'm saying? I think what 41 people. 50,
that's dope. That's dope.
It's keep growing. So you know what I'm saying. So I'm glad more about people catching on to the opportunity.
It's amazing.
And taking off with it. You know what I'm saying? So
that's good. That's good. I'm really, really proud of you guys, and congratulations on all the success of your class and your mentor and your brokerage. And my dispatchers up so they can get on that list.
Let's go.
Did anybody else have any more questions for the Hudsons? No, y'all good. Well, y'all have their email, their information down there. If you have any questions about their mentorship or anything else after that, feel free to reach out to them, and they're more than willing to help you and answer your questions. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to stay on and talk a little bit about dispatching. So if you guys want to stay on, you're welcome. If not, then again, thank you. Enjoy your Monday. And I appreciate you guys.
y'all enjoy y'all dispatch so after dark red lights. And, don't do nothing I wouldn't do.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Thank y'all.
All right. That was an amazing session. We definitely appreciate the Hudsons for being here. I hope you guys got some great information. Now I know a few of you, well, probably all of you or some of you are on here. Some of you on here brand new and some of you have been here before. But we'll go ahead and take this time to answer dispatch related questions. I know some people had questions about my classes. Somebody hit me up, they had questions about getting carriers. So we here, y'all got me for another 15 minutes. So any questions that you have, hey Shay, big play Shay in the building. Any questions that you have, shoot them up, raise your hand, take yourself off mute, let go. I'm all yours for 15 more minutes.
Hi, Tawana, this is Jessica again.
Hey,
I just wanted to, like, your book is, I love it. So if you guys haven't got the book, get the book.
Oh, thank you.
But I do, and I sent a question. You guys talked about it. There's a couple of templates that I'm still in need of, like a Raycon sheet. Is there a way or a guide I can look up or you can send regarding a Raycon sheet? Because I kind of did a dummy one, but I think I'm missing some information.
So when you say rate confirmation, what are you, a dispatcher?
Yes.
Why do you need a blank rate confirmation?
No, I'm asking what the information to keep on a Raycon sheet. That's why I'm asking from, or does that strictly come from the broker side of it?
Yeah, the broker is the one that's going to provide you with a completed rate con. So when they send you a rate confirmation, that is your contract for that particular load. So anytime they send you a rate confirmation, they're saying your carrier is agreeing to do this load with ABC broker, and everything about that load is going to be on that rate confirmation. So a dispatcher does not have to create a rate confirmation at all, ever. And then your BOL is going to come from the shipper. So the broker is going to provide you with the rate confirmation, and the BOL is the shipper is going to provide you with the BOL.
Okay, I had that backwards. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else?
Tawana, it's
Yes.
Hey.
Hey, boo. Hey.
All right, so let me ask you this question, because I'm just a slight bit confused.
Okay.
As a dispatcher, I'll get so thrown off. Today, I was out at the truck stops looking for carriers. So I was just really trying to, I listen to everybody and what they say, like success don't happen overnight. Right. So you have to be patient, but you have to be diligent. So me and my daughter went out today at a few different places, and we did pass out some of my cards. But did you find it hard getting those carriers in your beginning stages? And I know that I've tried like Indeed and posted an ad on there for my services. How I know you probably can't answer this question because like they just spoke about, the other young lady only took her 2 weeks after the course. How long could it normally take you? Is it just based on your effort?
Yeah, everybody's going to be totally different. It's going to be based on you. It's going to be based on, your geographics, where you are. So everybody's going to be totally different. Some dispatches take a little longer than others. But it's not saying that you're doing anything wrong. Have you gone to and printed out the carrier list from the FMCSA?
I think I have. I think I have it.
Let me show you. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
So the FMCSA, as we all know, are the people who issues authorities. So if they're the ones issuing authorities, they're the ones where you want to get your information from. All right. So you go to the FMCSA website up here at the very top, click on FMCSA register and click go. And then it brings up this report. As you can see, the report is running every single day except Saturdays and Sundays. All right. So when you click on the actual report, I think the HTML version is better. It's going to give you, it tells you about all the decisions that was made in the FMCSA. What you want is all the brand new carriers, which is going to be way down here at the bottom. It's a lot. I wonder why y'all don't have carriers. They all going out of business. Y'all see all these ones that's been revoked.
Yeah. All that today, I was on there today, and I saw that, and I was like, "Why is this list so long?"
You know why? You know the answer to that, right?
Oh,
it's a C word.
Compliance.
Yes. Compliance. So you wonder why everybody's like, "Oh, I don't have that carrier no more." Or that carrier, can't get in contact with that carrier because they're no longer in business. Carriers don't want to be in compliance. And this is a list of people who are no longer in business. And this just from the 31st.
Oh my God.
Right. That was a long list today.
Yeah. So once you get to the nitty gritty, make sure you're not looking at FF stands for freight forwarders. If you see the one that says broker in the arrangement of transportation, that is a brokerage. You want to make sure you're looking at the ones that say interstate common carriers. There's a guy right here. All of his information is right here. Hey man, how you doing? First of all, congratulations on your brand new MC. This is Tawana from Gold Star Logistics Group. I would love to get your email address so I can send you some information in reference to my services. Once you get that email address, you send him information in reference to your services. In that email, you set up a link. Hey, let's set up some time to talk so we can go over your business and how I can help you, move some freight. If you don't want to do it by email, you can always have a generated text message where you can send him a text message and let him know information about your business. So sometimes you do have to go that extra step, but at the same time, these are brand new people that are coming into the industry that 9 times out of 10, that courier is not going to be that one that's going to know every single thing they need to know. So if you jump on and give them that information, if you jump on and give them that assistance, then you're kind of helping them and you're kind of ahead of the game. So y'all can't sleep on this list.
So can I tell you something?
Absolutely.
I actually been on here. I did it a different way. So the box, whether the numbers are the DOT number, MC number. Can you go back to the front? And so the first part of it. So I would not that one because I didn't even know about that little option. If you go back one, that one right there. So another young lady that has inspired me in the industry is, I forgot her name, but she's L&J Logistics.
Tasha.
She was at your thing. Okay. And I was listening to her podcast on Truck and Hustle, and she was telling us how she went by doing this on this page right here, but she just said just put in a name. So any name came up, but I would be going to their safety page or something, and I was trying to. Yeah, and so I was trying to get the information that way, but this is smarter. I like this.
You can do it one by one if you want to just search for a person's name, but that becomes a little tedious and a little difficult. This way, it's going to give you a list, and you can print it out. You can print out the PDF report. Just don't print out all the stuff from the top. As you can see, it's very long. It's 169 pages if you print it out this way. But go to the bottom and get all the information in reference to the new carriers. And reach out to those new carriers, provide your services, provide value. This is when you're marketing yourself and marketing your brand and letting them know like this, these are some services that I can provide for you.
And it doesn't matter like what state you're pitching it to?
Absolutely not. Now, if you want to stick into your state, that's cool. If you want to say, hey, I see you in Georgia, I'm in Georgia as well. I can, assist you if you want, if that's going to be your angle, you can definitely do it that way.
Oh my God, this is so awesome. Thank you.
See, when you do it this way, and no, not to Tasha now, because I had a Zoom with her today. She had to teach me something, honey, because I was trying to fill out a UIAA application for my client, and honey, that was a whole different language. So you can definitely do it this way. You can literally like pick Florida and then print here. The only thing is when you do this, wait, did I let you do that anymore? So maybe they don't let you do it that way no more. But before they were letting you could pick a state and it would just show you everybody in the state, but it wasn't showing you new people. It was showing you everybody. You just want to see the new people. You just want to see the new people that need your assistance. I mean, you can definitely reach out to people who's been in the business for a while. There's no pressure on that. But those new people are going to be the ones where it's going to be like, okay, let me go ahead and there it is. It took a minute. All right. So these are all people in Florida. But again, you don't know if these people are brand new or how long they've had their authority. So let's just look at this one. Okay, they've been in the business, they've been in the game a long time. They've been granted authority since 1996. Not to say they don't really need nobody help right now, because if they've been in the business since 1996, they got dedicated contracts or something. But for me, the best way is just to market your services to the businesses that are brand spanking new.
Okay.
And go ahead and get your name in it. Because if they just got their authority today, they ready to go, they ready to move, but they may need assistance.
Yeah, I like it. Thank y'all.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Anybody else?
Yeah, I see a lot of loads going to Canada. Do we need a special passport or something special to get dispatches to Canada, or can we just drive in there, everything straight?
You can dispatch somebody to Canada all you want. Now, whether they get over there is a whole nother ballgame. It's a lot that goes into that. Permitting, are they a felon? The customs paperwork. So if someone is, if a broker is dispatching, not dispatch, if a broker is giving you a load for someone to go to Canada, they're going to help provide you with those permitting and customs paperwork that you need. But you just have to make sure the type of carrier that you're dealing with. Y'all don't be scared to ask these carriers if they got a felon. You trying to book a military load and they get to the doggone base and they can't get on the base because they got a felon. Don't be scared. You need to know, because it's a waste of time to put a load on somebody's truck and then find out after the fact that, you know, they got their girlfriend in the trunk. That's a felony. So don't be scared to ask, like, and it's for their own good, because you don't want to waste their time and send them to a military load to get on base and they can't get on base. Now I've had it where someone had freight on their truck and they had to go to the side. We had to call another truck to get transloaded so they can get that load, put it on somebody's truck that did not have a felony, and then go to the military base. So you got to ask these clients, do you have a twit guard? Do you mind going to Mexico? Do you mind going to Canada? Do you have a felony? Do you have any problem getting military loads? You know, ask them. The more questions you ask, the better you can provide service to them. Like, you know, how are you going to know your carriers or what they want to do? Or if a broker has an opportunity, how are you going to know if it's something that your carrier can handle if you don't ask those questions? Build that relationship with them. You know, what are your goals? What are your weekly goals? How much money are you trying to make a week? What are you trying to do? You want to scale? You want to buy another truck? Where are you going from here? The more you build that relationship with them, the more money they make, and essentially the more money you make as well.
Okay.
Okay. But just, you have to have that knowledge. That's where that onboarding call comes into place. Learn your carriers. Your carriers need to know the dimensions of their own truck. Don't let a carrier tell you, I don't know, it's a 26-foot truck. All 26-foot trucks are not created equal. So I need more. Is it 102 high? Is it 99 high? If a broker says to you, hey, yeah, it can fit on a 26 truck. Can you scale a pallet that's 90 high? Can you scale a pallet that's 90 high? You need to understand the dimensions of that truck you're dealing with, because all trucks and all trailers are not the same. Even 53-foot dry vans are not all the same size. So understand everything you need to know about that truck, what endorsements he has, and everything you need to know about that driver. And you move better freight that way. How do you deal with brokers that become unreachable when it's time to pay, but they are factored with the factoring company? Keisha! Where you at, girl? I ain't seen you in a minute, girl. You used to come see me every now and then.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey.
Hi.
So if they're factored with a factoring company, then the factoring company should be paying. Explain your question.
Right. Okay, so this might be one of the worst factoring companies I ever dealt with, which is TAFs. I'm sorry. But when it comes down to it, so say like everything, they pay us on a load. And then it come back 90 days later saying that, oh, they didn't pay us. And now I'm trying to reach the company because they're factored through TAFs. They could, you know, TAFs paid us out on the load. So now I got to call the company and try to get our money. Now they don't withheld their money. So it's like a whole bunch of.
Do you have a non-recourse contract?
Who, TAFs?
Mm-hmm. Or is it recourse?
Yeah. No, it's a non-recourse contract.
So they pay you and then they take them. They pay you.
Okay. So like they'll pay. Okay. Like for instance, this one guy, he deal with TAFs. So he sent them the invoices along like 2 months ago. TAFs paid out on the invoice. Come back 90 days later just to say that they didn't, like the company is saying that they didn't never receive something like TAFs saying they didn't receive the money, and the company is saying TAFs received the money. It's like back and forth, but it's not just the same company. It's like different carriers.
So that once the company pays, once TAF pays the company for the load, and then the company doesn't pay TAF, so then TAF takes it back from the carrier.
Yeah,
that's a recourse. That's a recourse contract.
So then why are they saying or non-recourse contract.
You got to look at your terms because.
But it's not my factoring
But
company.
I know not you. I'm just saying they have to look at their terms because if a factoring company pays you on that load, they eat that load. If it's a non-recourse, they eat that load. If they never get paid on that load, they eat that load. They're not coming after you for that load or coming or deducting that money back from your account. So that person definitely needs to look at their contract. I'm not an expert on factoring company, but it definitely sounds like that's a recourse. Because recourse means if we don't get paid, we coming back for our money.
Right. And they will help. That's not the only company, like that's not the only carrier they did like that. I deal with 3 different carriers that deal with TAF, and TAF is, I just don't know, like, how do the dispatcher, like the people start reaching out to me like, hey, we need this, and that. And I'm like, well, TAF's supposed to support that for you because we turned it into them.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a factoring company issue. It's definitely not, it's definitely one of those things where you have to understand your contract that you're signing. But yeah, it doesn't sound right because they shouldn't come back for the money. If the broker's already paid them, and they shouldn't come back from the money if it's a non-recourse. So I would definitely have your carrier check into his contract to be sure of what they signed, and then switch factoring companies.
Right, but then they telling you like
I don't like tab at all.
Right. But I know that probably wasn't a dispatch question, but I just had
You
asked
good.
that question.
You good. Good seeing you.
Okay, girl.
Hey, Tawana. I have a question. I'm Shawanda. I be dipping in, but I'm kind of quiet. But I did come to you guys' training in Atlanta, the conference.
Okay.
So my question is, do you know anything about Selectus when it comes with dispatching with that? I keep hearing about it and I'm just curious.
So Selectus is a load board that must be used by the carrier that pays for the load. Selective is carrier driven. So it's not one of those things that a dispatcher can just like you go and subscribe to DAT. It's not one of those things that you can just say, okay, I'm gonna sign up for Selectus. I'm gonna pay Selectus on my own and use Selectus load board. It's not like that. Because you have to have, your fleet, and you have to have an MC. Now, you do have dispatchers that, I'm pretty sure y'all done seen it on Facebook. Hey, I'm getting a Selectus login. DM me, y'all pay me $300. I'm gonna give y'all a login. Y'all better not do that. Because you're putting yourself and that carrier in jeopardy if that carrier is not the person who owns that Selectus load board. So I would say it's a good load board. It's not always that great. It's a hit and miss, just like DAT and any others. But I mean, some people have success on it. The thing with Selectus is it's kind of, to me, like the same thing as building relationships. It's expensive. It's $2,500, I think, to sign up for it, and like $500 and something a month. So, as a carrier, if you feel like, that's a good investment for your company, then fine. I mean, of course, it's a tax write-off, but as a dispatcher, it's just not one of those things you guys can go subscribe to on your own.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Tawana. How are you?
Hey, boo. Hey.
This is Shy from Blitz. I wanted to get some information on box trucks. Like, I have had a lot of carriers that own box trucks reach out to me for finding loads. So when I go on DAT to find loads for those box trucks, I have a hard time getting good loads for box trucks. So what suggestions do you have for box trucks?
Is Valencia on here? Valencia, you still here?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm here.
Can you chat me privately your DAT login?
Yeah, I got you.
Let me log in a DAT. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't dispatch on a daily basis, so I ain't got no login. Oh, never mind. I got one. Oh, it worked. Lord, I'm still paying for that. Okay. Hold on. All right. where is right here? All right. So when it comes to box trucks, you have to you got to be strategic with it. Okay. When you're doing your search, when it comes to a box truck, keep in mind the only thing when you do your search up here, what are you putting in?
I put in the box truck.
You put an SB.
SB
What else?
And then I'll put in the origin.
I can't hear you.
Put in the origin, like
No, just on this part right here. We're still here. Put an SB and what else?
That's it.
What?
Put it there too.
Okay, fill me in.
You're gonna put an SB. You come and put in V for van. Does your box truck have a lift gate? Your box truck has a lift gate.
It does.
You have to keep in mind, box trucks are no different per se. The only difference a box truck is a half a size of a 53. But you want to be strategic about how you look for the loads the same exact way. If you look at these searches down here, these are my dispatchers that put in these searches. They don't just have SB, okay? Sometimes it's your job to convince that broker that box truck can take that load. So a lot of times that's where it's gonna come into play, where it's like, do you understand or do you know everything you need to know about that particular vehicle? Do you know the dimensions? How high of a pallet can they take? How many pallets can they take? Is it a CDL or a non-CDL driver? Do they have a lift gate? Are they dock high? You know, once you have all that information, now it's a matter of you getting on that phone with that broker and letting him know what you have. You always want to put F&P to both. You want to put 26 here. You want to put the weight. Keep in mind when it comes to weight, even though I'm putting 10,000, understand not all box trucks can take 10,000 pounds. Make sure your box trucks are getting empty weigh tickets. That empty weigh ticket is going to let them know how much they can actually put on their truck. People seem to think, oh, it's 10,000 pounds. That's not the case. Because keep in mind, your GVW is going to come into play. So the GVW is 26, the gross vehicle weight is 26,000 pounds. If your truck weighs 17,000 pounds, that means you can only take 9,000 pounds of freight. Okay, it's not always going to be 10,000 pounds. So understand the truck that you're dispatching for, and you'll find that your search is you can find way more loads. So once you have your information in here, so of course you see the loads that say SB. Of course we know those are for box trucks, but sometimes these V loads or these VG loads can be for box trucks as well. So you're looking at a particular load, and you're looking at it, as long as this broker does not say no box trucks, this load is 5 feet, 2,500 pounds. Bring, hey, Global Trend. This is Tawana calling from Gold Star Logistics in reference to the load that you have posted from Stockbridge, Georgia, going to Phoenix, Arizona. Can you give me some details in reference to this load? Although I wouldn't want no details in reference to this load for no $500. So let's not look at that one. No, let's see. Better example. All right. So even this one, even though it doesn't say the feet, it says 6,847 pounds. So once he gives you the information on the load, you're telling him, hey, I have a driver in the area. He's about 50 miles away from you. He's in a 26-foot box truck. He can carry 10,000 pounds. And he has roll-up doors and he can scale 99. How high are your pallets? Or what is it that's going on here? What's the commodity? Once if they start to talk to you about what the commodity is, that means it's a possibility that they can go on that truck. Okay, so you don't want to limit yourself to just these SBs, because as you can see, it's not a lot of SBs on here. All right, so some of these other loads can definitely be the case. So once he starts talking, hey, yeah, that pallet will fit on this truck, or these pallets, my pallets are only 40 feet high. I mean, 40 feet high. My pallet is only 40 inches high. That'll fit on the truck. What's the rate? What rate are you looking for there? Oh, okay. So I see it's going, it's local. It's 267 miles. Any way you can do 900 on this? And now y'all looking at me like, where in the hell did she get $900? The broker to carry a spot market rate on it is $4.04. There's no way, just because it's a box truck, I'm just gonna ask for $2 a mile. It's a local run. Can I get 900? 900 starts your negotiation. Okay, so he may not give you 900 for 256 miles. He was gonna put it, he wants a full load, he wants a full truck, not a partial, he wants a dedicated truck. He was gonna put it on the dry van. Okay, so at the same time, I have a truck, you already said it fits, so you're not gonna give me nothing less than a dry van. So if he won't go to you 900, 900 is starting your negotiation high. so that you can start negotiating with you. If he starts negotiating with you, that means he's ready to start, but he's ready to go ahead and book this load.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? I just gave y'all full training. I'm finna say everybody on this call an invoice. No, I'm just playing.
That was some good information.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Yes, you helped me a lot. I need a refresher course with you.
Yes, don't sell yourself short. What does your driver have? Does your driver has hazmat? Then you go up here and you put VZ. You know what I'm saying? You have to keep in mind, what does the truck have? What does the driver have? And then you put all of those searches in here. That's why I don't like the any, because the any is only going to give you van. That's it. Only is going to let you break down every characteristic about your driver and every characteristic about that truck. So the more information you have here, because you never know what a broker has that load posted for. So the more information you have in here about your truck and about your driver, the more searches you're going to get and the better off you're going to find a load.
Hey, Tawana, since we're right here, if and I'm gonna reach out to the Hudsons about this hot shot situation over in there, because I heard them talking. Okay, I have 3 trucks.
Let's get that low, honey. No, I'm just bad.
No. I just said I have some trucks that need to be moved. But
okay,
on this screen right here, I'm looking. Would a hot shot be classified under like flat or no?
For a hot shot, you got
on here.
You can keep that VH, and then you also want to add your FH.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Flatbed,
but you also want to have F for flatbeds.
Oh.
Okay. Then you have to think about, is it a CDL or a non-CDL driver?
CDL.
CDL driver. How much can a CDL driver take on his hot shot?
This one particular can take up to 26. I think 22 some 22,000. It's a 40-foot with
40 foot.
Make
sure you get that verified. A 40-foot trailer with 22,000 pounds.
Oh,
make sure you get that verified. But if that's the case, there you go. You got the flatbed loads, you got the flat hot shots. So now, even though it's classified as a flatbed, that doesn't mean you don't call on that load. What that means is you're going in there and you're explaining to the broker what type of equipment that you have. Just make sure when you're calling on these flatbed loads, don't call the broker and say, I have a flatbed in the area, because you don't. You got a dually with a flatbed, which is way different than a tractor with a flatbed. Okay. Make sure that broker understands that you have a dually and a hot shot trailer, 40-foot trailer with a CDL driver. And I'm looking at this load that you have posted in Morrow, Georgia. Can I get some details on this load? So he'll give you details and let you know whether or not this is something that will comfortably fit on that truck. You may make a lot of calls to book one load, but that's okay, because it's better than you saying, I don't see anything, because you don't have the right search criteria. So increase your search criteria so that you can make those calls. Make 5 or 6 calls. After your 5 or 6 calls, there you go, you booked your load. But you have to make sure your search criteria is correct, and you got to make those calls. All of those calls you make are going to be all education moments. You know what I'm saying? When you call in that broker, he may say something to you, and like, okay, I understand why we can't put that type of load. Oh, it may be, piping, or it may be whatever the case may be, but it gives you a better understanding of what can and cannot go on the trailer of the guy that you're dispatching for.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I need to probably take your course, honey. Oh, I didn't mess up. I done messed up. No, I ain't gonna say that now, ma. Sorry.
It's okay. That's why I do this. All right. Also look at a 53-foot load and ask them the commodity, because just because they have it posted as a 53 means nothing. You just have to make the call, especially when it gets down to the late in the daytime. They're trying to move this load. They're trying to make it work. Let's see how many pallets you say you can take. Okay, let me see. They're trying to make it work. But if you don't make the phone call, how you know the brokers ain't calling you? You just got to make the call. I'm supposed to be on a call for a class that I paid $3,000 for, and I'm still on the phone talking to y'all.
Bye, Tawana.
All right. I see somebody. It says Zoom user with their hand up. It doesn't have your name. It just says Zoom user.
It's me.
Hey, boo. Hey.
Hey, Bobby.
What's your question?
How are you, Miss Fellow Scorpio?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
That's right. Listen, you know, when I took your class, one of the big takeaway I took was learn that box truck, learn that. And that's all I have been doing. Oh my God, that was like giving birth 2 times over. But I did it. But I learned it. But you know, I feel like I've become a magnet for box trucks now. So I'm trying to move to get the drive-in. I was like, I mean, I'm still taking them and I'm arguing, well, not, you know, arguing, but just kind of going with these brokers like, no, you know, we're not taking that. My drivers cannot drive on fumes, and you've got tolls, you've got that. And, you know, it's just, whew. You know, at one time, Tawana was going to give up on the box truck. I was like, no, Tawana, so you got to learn that box truck.
Box trucks. Man, box trucks come into this game so like a lot. And of course you have the flatbeds and you have those other trucks out there, but the ones that are out there seeking dispatches are hot shots and box trucks.
Yeah,
so you gotta learn those 2 pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
You know, you get a drive-in, it's like, hey, look at drive-in. But at the same time, don't turn down that 10%.
No, you're so right. Because I tell you, I'm telling you, Tawana, I feel like I was giving birth. I'm not kidding, but I really stuck in there. And I can tell you, I have become so good at that. And then I, you know, stay on the Slack and I'll see you add nuggets and I help with that. So I'll make sure I know the inside measurement of the box, the outside.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you have, you know, E-tracks? You know, do you have straps? Do you air right? I mean, everything. I was like, wow, you know, she did say something.
Absolutely. Like, see, y'all be thinking I don't be knowing nothing. I be trying.
No, you're right. So yeah, so for me, what I do on the DAT, I run 2 searches per truck. I run the only, and I run because I just want to separate the vans. But I do that as well because you did taught us that. So I do the same thing, and I've moved a lot of those 53. And CH Robinson, I can tell you guys, it is a great place to go run the box truck because they'll give you the same rate as that drive-in. So just call them.
I have to build those. It's so important to build.
Get a relationship with them.
The Hudson just told y'all to call them now. You know, but yeah, I'm happy to hear that everything is going good.
It was hard to want to. I'm not gonna lie.
I never told you it was easy. Now you never hear me say it's easy. Never hear me say the word easy.
Yeah, she said it was hard, but Jesus, she didn't really define hard. I thought I was gonna get a migraine. I was like, oh my gosh.
I never said it was easy, but it's definitely worth it to learn it. It's a niche. When you learn that niche,
it really is. So now I'm like, okay,
y'all don't sleep on these box trucks.
No, don't. She's right about it. I'm telling you, because all I have been dispatching since I left your class is box truck, and they just keep coming, and you get better at getting really good paying loads for them, and you build a relationship. So you're like, no, you know, it's like, no, they can't do that. And you learn, you know, just like you're saying, scale them and see how much fits on that. And, you know, you're constantly learning. So I really would like to try to add a couple drive-ins, but I just become a magnet for these box trucks. So I was like, Tawana, can you help me to figure it?
That's what's up, though. That's what's up. Keep taking them and keep educating them. It'll come. But you know, if you know you're good at it, you know you're getting them. You know you keep getting them and you keep working them. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay. All right, Mama.
I appreciate you. All right, y'all. I'm gonna wrap this sucker on up. I truly hope that something I've said within these past 2 hours have been beneficial. I hope you enjoyed the Hudsons. We definitely appreciate them for being here. I'm gonna wrap up. I got a good one for y'all next month. Ooh, y'all, I'm so excited about next month. I have a good one for y'all next month. But thank you for being here. Just be patient in this industry. If it's something that you want to do, you're gonna have to work hard at it. It's not gonna come easy to you, but I promise you, if you stick with it, the results that you're looking for will come in due time. But I thank you all for being here. I thank you for your support. Of course, the recording is going to be up. Don't be calling me about this recording tonight. The recording will be up tomorrow. All right. And as always, for those who are in my Slack group, those who have taken my training, feel free to ask me any questions that you want in Slack. I'm here for you. For anybody else who's interested in my training, always visit my website, goldstarlogisticsgroup.com, or shoot me an email with any questions. I appreciate my GSL team for being here supporting me tonight. And I appreciate everything that you guys do. And that's it, y'all. Nighty night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Can we catch
night.
it? Is this recorded?
It is. It'll be up by tomorrow.
Okay, I missed the first half. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Good night, everybody.